Alright everybody, welcome to the video for lesson number 6, rotations off the coordinate plane. Let's jump right into the homework here. So for the first question, it's very similar to one we did in class. So it's asking us to take this rectangle and rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. So clockwise, remember, is going around the same way that the clock does. So if I go from P and I go clockwise, well, I want to go the same way that a clock does, so it's in quadrant 3, it's going to wind up being in quadrant 2. If I take PS and rotate it clockwise, well, then it's going to wind up being in quadrant 3, so 4 becomes 3, and then line segment AD becomes our answer. That was actually a Regents question, not too bad. So let's take a look at the next one. So it says that we have this triangle ABC, and it says let A prime, B prime, C prime be the image of ABC after rotation about point A. Determine and state the location of point B prime. The location of C prime is 8, -3. Explain your answer, and then determine if triangle DEF is congruent to this new triangle. Now, this was kind of an interesting question because we're rotating around a different point. So for this, even though it's on the coordinate plane, I actually don't really care about the coordinate plane. I actually care more about where this new coordinate of C prime is. So C prime is 8, -3. So that's C prime. So I see where A prime, C prime is going to be. Now I just have to figure out where B prime is going to be. Well, to get from C to B, I went up 1 to the right 4. So I need to use that same rule, but go backwards. So I'm going to go back 1, up 4. And that's where B prime is going to be. This way, if you notice, the orientation stays the same because remember, rotations are direct isometries. So now if I look at that triangle is going to be some kind of a rotation from this direction to that direction. So I just wanted to figure out where B prime was. So we can state B prime is 7, 1. We actually don't even have to worry about anything other than rotating it. Now, if you're having trouble understanding what I just talked about, use your tracing paper, trace triangle ABC, and then just turn it so that AC becomes AC prime, and you'll see where B prime is. The tracing paper definitely helps here. Then it says, explain why DEF is the same size or is congruent to triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Well, if I draw in this line, x equals -1, that's the line of reflection for these two triangles. So we can say if triangle DEF is reflected over x equals -1, it will lie on top triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So because of that, I know the triangles are congruent because reflections preserve size and shape because they're rigid motions. That's your homework assignment. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward. Again, if you're having trouble with the rotation for number 2, go through and use your tracing paper. Let's keep going here. So number 3 says to rotate around the figure about point A 90 degrees. 90 degrees is positive rotation, so that means we're going from this direction to this direction. So if I rotate this about point A, that means A is going to stay in the same spot. So I'm going to wind up getting a square. B is going to turn down, so B prime is going to be here. C prime and D prime. Then if you look, A, B, D, that triangle, A, B, D, winds up being the shaded triangle, so I'd shade in here. Let's take a look at the next one. It says it rotates 180 degrees around point A. So again, point A is going to stay the same. And if you're having trouble visualizing this, remember, just use your tracing paper. So B is going to wind up rotating all the way around, right, and flipping down here to B prime. C is going to rotate all the way around, all right, and that's going to be equal to here, and then D is going to be up here. So we can see how the triangle's kind of rotating. Again, if you're struggling, use your tracing paper. So if we go A, B, D, we have our shade in here. Again, just a sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect. So for the last one, I'm asking you to rotate 270 around point A. So again, A is going to stay in the same location. So my square is going to be somewhere down here. Now I just have to figure out where the points are. And again, if you're struggling, use your tracing paper. So A is going to rotate all the way around. And A and C are going to be opposite from each other, so we kind of know that already. B prime is going to be up here, and D prime is going to be down here. That's just how it's going to wind up rotating around. So then if we go through and do our triangle, it's ABD. ABD. Oops. I just drew that in the wrong spot. ABD is going to look like that, and then we'd shade in here. If you were to put all four of these shapes together, you'd wind up getting a shaded in square in the middle. Again, if you're struggling, I know I've said this 15 times, it's probably annoying, but use your tracing paper. It will totally help. All right, hopefully this video helped. Keep checking out these videos, and we will make it through this unit.